Have you ever realized that we are obsessed with being fast? We want fast food, fast clothes, and even faster results. These days, we are taught to think that if we can't learn a new skill or change our lives in a single weekend, it probably isn't worth doing. We look for the 10-minute summary of a 500-page book. We look for the shortcuts and the cheat codes to get ahead in our careers. We have become a world of sprinters, but we are living in a reality that fundamentally requires us to run a marathon. Here is the truth that no one in the self-improvement world wants to tell you. Speed is the enemy of being great at something. When you try to learn fast, you aren't actually learning. You are just recognizing. There is a huge difference between recognizing a piece of information and actually owning it in your mind. Right now, you probably feel like you are falling behind. You see people on your phone achieving something new every week. You see 20-year-olds who seem to become millionaires overnight. This pressure to keep up creates a noisy, vibrating state of mind. It makes you feel anxious. But here's the ironic part. The anxious state of mind actually shuts down the smart part of your brain. It's the part you need for deep thought and solving hard problems. By trying to keep up with this high-speed world, you are actually making yourself stuck. You are running faster and faster, but your feet aren't even touching the ground. You are moving, but you aren't going anywhere. Why does fast learning fail us every single time? It is because of something called the illusion of being smart. When you watch a video at double speed, your brain feels a little rush. You feel like you are getting smarter because you are taking in a lot of information. But 3 days later, when you actually try to use that knowledge, it's gone. It is like trying to build a huge building on a foundation of wet sand. To truly master something, your brain needs to build physical connections. Think of it like building a mental muscle. Every time you practice a task, your brain builds a type of insulation around its wiring. The more you practice, the thicker that insulation gets, and the faster your brain can work. But this insulation doesn't grow when things are easy. It doesn't grow when you are just passively watching a video. It grows through the struggle. It grows when you sit with a problem that makes your head feel hot and frustrated. By avoiding the slow, difficult parts of learning, you are stopping your brain from actually changing. You are staying the same person, just with a more crowded and cluttered memory. In this fast world, we are losing the people who truly understand how things work. We are losing the thinkers who understand the deep rules of math, art, and life. Instead, we are just becoming tools. If you only learn how to follow steps, but never learn why those steps work, you are easily replaced. In 2026, AI can follow steps better than you can. The only thing a machine cannot copy is the deep wisdom that comes from learning things slowly. Consuming too much information too fast is like eating too much junk food. It leads to brain fog and a total loss of your creativity. You feel like you know a little bit about everything, but you aren't a master of anything. That feeling can be very painful. You aren't failing because you aren't talented. You are failing because you have forgotten how to be patient. To get ahead, you have to make a choice that feels wrong. You have to choose to be slow in a world that demands you go fast. This is the secret to mastery. It's the strategy used by the greatest thinkers in history. It is about diving deep into one thing instead of just touching the surface of everything. To master anything, you must intentionally become a slow-speed person. You have to build a fortress around your focus. The first step is to stop just memorizing steps. You need to understand the basics. If you are learning a new language, don't just memorize phrases. Try to understand why the sentences are built the way they are. If you are learning to code, don't just copy and paste the answer. Rewrite the code yourself from scratch until you see the patterns in your sleep. When you understand the basic rules, you can eventually create your own ways of doing things. You have to slow down at the very beginning so that you can be unstoppable at the end. Most people quit in the first few hours because they hate feeling like they don't know what they are doing. They hate feeling stupid, but the secret is to lean into that feeling. Commit to 20 hours of difficult practice. No music in the background, no phone on the desk, just you and the frustration. This is where your brain actually gets stronger. If it doesn't feel hard, you aren't really learning. You are just repeating what you already know. The second step is to give your brain a break from the constant noise. Your brain is tired from all the notifications and the scrolling. To fix this, you have to be okay with being bored. Spend 30 minutes every day with nothing to do. No music, no phone, no talking. This forces your brain to settle down. When you lower the noise, your own thoughts finally become clear again. Being great at something isn't about how many hours you spend. It's about how focused you are during those hours. Try the 90-minute rule. Spend 90 minutes working on one thing and only one thing without any interruptions. In a world where most people can't focus for even a minute, a person who can focus for 90 minutes is basically a superhero. The third step is to try and teach what you have learned. You don't really know a topic until you can explain it to a 6-year-old child using simple words. After you study something, close your book and try to write down what you learned in plain English. Where you struggle to explain it, that is where your knowledge is weak. Go back and slow down again. Fill that gap. You cannot learn deeply in a noisy room. You need a quiet place. For 2 hours a day, turn off the internet. Put your phone in another room. Let the world move fast while you stay still. In these 2 hours, you will get more done than most people do in a whole week of being busy. We have to realize that this era is a filter. It is splitting the world into two groups. The people who just consume and the people who master their craft. The consumers will be led by computers and apps, living lives of distraction. The masters will be the ones who protected their focus and learned the skills that a machine cannot do. The world is moving faster than ever, which means the most rebellious thing you can do is slow down. Protect your attention. In 2026, being able to focus is the most important skill you can have. While everyone else is chasing the next trend, you will be building a foundation that lasts. Being a master is not a destination. It is a way of living. It is the decision to respect your mind by giving it the time it needs to grow. Don't worry about being behind. The person who learns the basics deeply will always eventually pass the person who just learned the quick tricks. Think about the people who built beautiful things in the past. They didn't have phone notifications. They didn't have social media. They had their tools and they had time. We think we don't need time anymore, but our brains are still the same as they were thousands of years ago. Your brain still needs repetition, silence, and rest to become great. When you try to force information into your brain at high speeds, your brain rejects it. It is time to stop fighting your own nature and start working with it. This is about more than just being productive. It is about being a human being who can think for themselves. You have the power to change your brain. It starts with what you do right after this video ends. Will you keep scrolling? Or will you build something? Will you look for another quick video? Or will you sit in a quiet and do something difficult? The choice is yours. Pick one thing you want to learn. Just one. And today, give it 30 minutes of your slowest and deepest attention. You will feel the urge to check your phone. You will feel like you want to quit. That feeling is actually the sound of your brain getting better. Don't run away from it. Stay in the room. History doesn't remember the people who scrolled the most. It remembers the people who sat down and figured out how things work. The time for quick fixes is over. The time for deep masters has begun. In a world of noise, the quietest person is often the most powerful because they are the only ones who can actually hear their own thoughts. This is how you get away from the chaos. This is how you rise above reality. This path is not for everyone. Most people will keep chasing the lights on their screens, but you are here because you want something real. You want the skill, not just the illusion of it. If this makes sense to you, it is a sign that your mind is ready to work. Don't let the phone take your focus away the moment you click away. Be intentional. Be slow. Take a breath. Put the phone down and start the slow work of becoming who you were meant to be. The world can wait. Your growth cannot. When we look at technology, everything is designed to be easy and fast. But learning is supposed to be hard. It is like rubbing two sticks together to start a fire. If there is no friction, there is no fire. If there is no struggle, there is no learning. This is why a person who struggles with a book for 3 hours learns more than someone who watches a 3-minute summary. The struggle is the signal that you are growing. Don't look for the easiest way. Look for the way that makes you grow the most. That path is always slower and harder, but it is always better. You are not a machine that needs to be tuned up. You are a human being that needs to be grown. Growing takes seasons. It takes rain. It takes time. Stop trying to pick the fruit before you have even planted the seeds. Slow down, focus, and watch what happens when you finally give your mind the space it needs to truly master the world.